He was the king of a real estate empire, a man who saw the world in black and white, profit and loss. She was a single mother from the other side of town, armed with nothing but a faded photograph and a story that seemed too incredible to be true. Her name was Sarah, and she claimed that her late grandmother, a woman she'd only known through stories, was the secret first wife of this tycoon's father, the original patriarch of the family fortune. The tycoon, Mr. Harrison, laughed in her face. His office was a fortress of glass and steel overlooking the city, a world away from Sarah's reality. He saw her as just another opportunist, another hand reaching for a piece of his family's legacy. He called her a liar, a fraud, and had his security escort her from the building. But Sarah didn't back down. She wasn't after his money. She was after the truth. She was searching for her history, for a connection to a past that had been deliberately erased. Her claim was simple. Her grandmother, a black woman named Eleanor, had secretly married the young, idealistic heir, Thomas Harrison. Back in the 1950s, it was a time when such a union was not just frowned upon, but dangerous. The story went that Thomas's powerful father forced them apart, threatened Eleanor, and erased all records of their marriage to protect the family's social standing. Thomas was then pushed into a more suitable marriage, the one that produced the current Mr. Harrison. Eleanor, heartbroken and pregnant, disappeared. Mr. Harrison scoffed. His father was a man of honor, a pillar of the community. The idea was preposterous. He saw it as a desperate attempt to tarnish his family's name. Yet Sarah's quiet determination planted a seed of doubt. There was something in her eyes, a conviction that couldn't be easily dismissed. She presented the only proof she had, a worn photograph of a young, beaming couple. The man was unmistakably a young Thomas Harrison. The woman beside him, her face full of love and hope, was Eleanor. Driven by a mix of anger and a flicker of curiosity he wouldn't admit to, Mr. Harrison agreed to a DNA test. It was a power move, a way to publicly humiliate Sarah and put an end to her ridiculous claims once and for all. He saw it as a simple, scientific way to crush her story. He was so confident, he even allowed the family's longtime lawyer to oversee the process, making it ironclad. The stage was set for a showdown. For Sarah, it was a chance to reclaim her grandmother's honor. For Mr. Harrison, it was a chance to prove his world was exactly as he believed it to be. The day the results came in, the air in the lawyer's office was thick with tension. Mr. Harrison sat with his arms crossed, a smug look on his face. Sarah sat quietly, her hands clasped in her lap. The lawyer, a man who had served the Harrison family for decades, opened the envelope. He cleared his throat, his expression unreadable. He looked at Mr. Harrison, then at Sarah. The silence stretched on, becoming unbearable. Finally, he spoke. The results were conclusive. Sarah was, without a doubt, a direct descendant of Thomas Harrison. She was his grandniece. But that wasn't the part that made the room go silent. That wasn't the secret that would shatter the Harrison empire to its core. The lawyer took a deep breath before delivering the final blow. He looked directly at Mr. Harrison. The test also confirms, he sighed slowly, that you, Mr. Harrison, are not a biological descendant of Thomas Harrison. The world stopped. Mr. Harrison's smug expression dissolved into sheer disbelief, then confusion, then pure, unadulterated shock. It was impossible. He was a Harrison. His entire identity, his legacy, his fortunate was all built on that name. How could he not be his father's son? The room spun. The carefully constructed walls of his life were crumbling around him. The woman he had scorned, the woman he had called a liar, was more of a Harrison than he was. The truth, as it turned out, was far more complex and heartbreaking than anyone could have imagined. In the days that followed, a frantic search through old family records, long-forgotten diaries, and sealed legal documents unearthed the real story. Thomas Harrison had indeed loved Eleanor with all his heart. When his father forced them apart, he was left devastated. His arranged marriage was loveless and cold. His wife, feeling trapped and neglected, had a brief, desperate affair. The result of that affair was the boy who would grow up to be the tycoon, Mr. Harrison. Thomas Harrison knew. He knew the child wasn't his, but he raised him as his own, pouring all his frustrated ambition and broken dreams into the boy. Perhaps it was a form of penance, or perhaps he simply didn't know what else to do. He never spoke of Eleanor again, burying the secret of his one true love and the secret of his wife as betrayal deep within the family as foundations. He built an empire on a lie, passing down a legacy to his son who wasn't his, all while his true bloodline was left to fend for itself. For Mr. Harrison, the revelation was an earthquake. His entire life had been a performance. The pride he felt in his heritage was a sham. He wasn't the rightful heir. He was the product of a secret shame. He looked at Sarah, and for the first time, he didn't see an adversary, Esau family. He saw the ghost of the father he thought he knew, and the story of a love that was sacrificed for the very fortune he now controlled. In a strange twist of fate, the enemy he tried to vanquish became his only link to the truth. Sarah, with her quiet strength in her grandmother's story, held the key not just to the past, but to his own identity. The DNA test he had used as a weapon had backfired spectacularly, revealing him to be the one living a lie. The journey forward was uncertain. The Harrison Empire was built on a foundation of secrets, and now those secrets were out. But in the rubble of his old life, Mr. Harrison found something unexpected. A chance for redemption. He began to talk to Sarah, not as a tycoon to a claimant, but as a man to his newfound cousin. They pieced together the fragments of their shared history, one story at a time. He learned about Eleanor's resilience, how she raised her daughter alone, instilling in her the same strength that now shone in Sarah. He realized Sarah hadn't come for his money. She had come for her name, for her grandmother's place in history. And in a final, public act of reconciliation, Mr. Harrison did something his father and grandfather never could. He acknowledged Eleanor. He officially recognized her as Thomas Harrison's first wife, and welcomed Sarah and her family into the legacy they had been denied for so long. It wasn't about dividing the fortune. It was about uniting a family that had been fractured by prejudice and secrets. The king of the real estate empire learned that the true value of a legacy is unmeasured in dollars, but in truth and connection. And sometimes, it takes losing everything you thought you were to find out who you truly are. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content just like this.